I hope you're enjoying Act Normal and Don't Tell Anyone About the Dinosaur in the Garden. If you want to take a look at this or some of the other books in the series, just type Act Normal into Amazon or click on the link down here to get your own copy. And please leave a review on the book's Amazon page if you like this story. Chapter 8. It turns out that really big dinosaurs are not that hard to follow, even in a town. They break a lot of things and they make a lot of noise. Also, they poo a lot, and their poos are big and smelly, just like big dogs. I don't mean big and smelly like big dog poos. I mean big and smelly just like big dogs. They're about the same size as a big dog and about as smelly. They came up to Adam's chest when he jumped in them. That's how we followed the big dinosaurs to the supermarket car park. Most of the cars had been squashed by big dinosaur feet and thrown about by big dinosaur claws. There were 5 big dinosaurs. They looked a bit like T-Rexes, but they had longer necks and black and white ostrich feathers. They were also more scary than T-Rexes because T-Rexes are only ever on TV and in books. They pulled the meat counter out of the shop and they were gulping down whole legs of lamb and whole joints of beef and whole frozen turkeys like ice lollies. They did not see us, or not until Adam decided to shoot at them with his Nerf gun. The little bullets bounced off the big dinosaurs' heads and they turned around and roared at us. Adam roared back, but he was not as loud. And that was when I remembered what I'd forgotten to make when we left the house. I'd forgotten to make a plan. I told Adam to run. While we were running, Adam said, "We can't just run away all the time." I knew he was right. We had to think of something to do other than just running. But right now, with 5 big dinosaurs running after us, running was the best idea I could think up. If I could make the Nerf gun fire some kind of poison dart, or if I could change the torch into a laser, that might work. But I couldn't do those things, not while we were running away anyway. We ran as fast as we could. The dinosaurs were faster, but they kept stopping to bite street lamps and cars and each other. We ran past the shops and the dinosaurs followed us. We ran through some gardens and the dinosaurs followed us there too. We even ran through the playground and the biggest dinosaur bit a big lump out of the slide. If you want to use the slide now, you have to jump the gap on the way down. We didn't stop to use the slide because the dinosaurs were getting very close. I could hear their teeth going snap, snap, snap just behind my head. We were getting very tired, but we saw our front door and got inside just before the dinosaurs got us. The house was dark because the football match had finished and Dad had gone to bed. Adam and I were safe, but all the dinosaurs were in the garden. That was really bad. They were making a big mess. They were thirsty after the long run and they were drinking from our pond. Now was the time to think up a plan. I am quite good at making plans and I make my best plans when things get really bad. The plan I made would be a good one if it worked, but it was very dangerous. Chapter 9. I went upstairs to my room and I looked under my bed. Luckily, Dad hadn't thrown my last bit of experiment away. Do you remember there were 3 bowls with my experiment in? One was fed to the chickens. Adam took the other one and fed it to the birds in the wood and the ostriches. The third one I kept just in case. Well, I decided that just in case was right now. Adam got all his best tricks. He got his Nerf gun and his football and his drum, and he also took his toy monkey that sang songs really loud, only it sang them in Japanese because it was broken. He slowly opened the back door and went outside. He tried firing his Nerf gun at the dinosaurs again, but they were drinking from the pond and they didn't even take any notice. He tried kicking his football at them, but one of them just flicked it with his tail and went into next door's garden. He banged the drum and switched on the monkey, and the noise was really loud, but the dinosaurs just kept on drinking. They must have been really, really thirsty. This was good. In the end, Adam ran up to one of the dinosaurs and kicked it in the bum. The dinosaur turned round. Then it got up. Then they all got up. Adam did his best roar. He roared at them all as loud as he could. Then he turned round and ran away from the house, and the dinosaurs all followed him, snapping their teeth and roaring. Adam giggled, but he kept running. When they'd gone round the side of the house, I crept out of the back door and poured my last bowl of experiment into the pond. I had to scrape it out with my finger because it was a bit of a crunchy, sticky mess by now, and there were some bits growing in it which were furry and smelled really bad. I washed my finger in the water because I didn't want to turn myself into anything by mistake. Just then, Adam came running round the side of the house. He was being followed by the dinosaurs. They were snapping and roaring, and I would have been very scared if I was him. I grabbed Adam's hand and I pulled him back into the house, and we slammed the door just before the biggest dinosaur got us. They roared and crashed about a bit outside. I think they were quite angry, but in the end they stopped looking for us and went back to drinking the pond. The first bit of my plan was working. We watched out of the window. Adam said, "What now?" I tried to tell him what my experiment did. I told him about the shopping lists. I told him the experiment sort of uncrossed out some of the things that were on the list, so the birds went back to what birds had been before, a long, long time ago, which was dinosaurs. Adam didn't get it, but he's a bit young. Then, as we watched, a funny thing happened. First, the big dinosaur's feathers started falling out. Then it started getting smaller. Then its tail started getting short and tall. Then all the other dinosaurs started changing too. Their heads got less snappy and their necks got shorter. They were still drinking, but now they stuck their heads right into the pond. Adam started giggling again. The dinosaurs' legs and arms started to turn into flappy fins, and they got smaller and smaller until one by one they plopped all the way into the pond and started swimming around. My experiment had made the birds turn back into dinosaurs. Now, when I gave it to the dinosaurs, it had turned the dinosaurs back into fish. Chapter 10. In the morning, Dad was in a good mood. He was a bit surprised that the garden was such a mess, but then I told him the fish were back in the pond, and he was glad about that. Then he looked at the fish. I think it would all have been okay if the fish hadn't looked quite so dinosaur-y. They were sort of green with hard scales and pointy fins and spiky bits like claws on them. They didn't really look enough like our old goldfish. Dad sat me down by the pond. "Tell me what happened," he said. Then he gave me that look that says, "Really tell me, and don't act normal." So I told him. I told him about the experiment and the chickens and the ostriches and the dinosaurs in the wood. I even told him when we went out hunting them at night, and I knew he wouldn't like that bit. Then I told him we turned them all back into fish, which he did say was very clever. Then I told him that there were a few little things I hadn't been able to put back to normal, like the mess in the garden and the squashed cars at the supermarket and the little dinosaurs that were living in the woods. That was when he got that scared look in his eyes when they go all wide and he doesn't say anything for a long time. In the end, he said, "I think I'd better tell the Prime Minister." The Prime Minister runs the country, and you don't talk to the Prime Minister unless it's about something really important. I was a bit scared that I'd get into trouble if everyone knew about the dinosaurs. But when I got home from school, Dad said he'd spoken to the Prime Minister, and the Prime Minister had said that England had won a really important football match last night, and everyone was happy. So it would be a pity to make them all sad and scared by telling them about the dinosaurs. He thought it would be better to just get all the squashed cars taken away and get some people to catch as many of the little dinosaurs in the wood as they could. I said, "But lots of people saw the footprints and the broken cars, and everyone at the farm would know, and Alfred got chased and they bit his bum." But Dad said it was okay, because the Prime Minister had got people who could use special ray guns to make them forget what they'd seen. I don't know if Dad really did talk to the Prime Minister, but right now, out of my window, I can see some men coming to the door, and one of them has something that looks a lot like a ray gun. So maybe Dad did talk to them after all. So I decided to write all this down anyway, just in case I forget about it. Important things to remember. 1, there probably are still a few dinosaurs in the wood, so you'd better look out if you go playing there. And 2, don't eat 5 kinds of sweets and 3 kinds of crisps and 4 kinds of fizzy drinks all at the same time. That was Act Normal and Don't Tell Anyone About the Dinosaur in the Garden. I hope you liked it. There are plenty of other Act Normal books to read and collect. Just type Act Normal into Amazon, and if you've enjoyed this book, please take a second to write a quick review on the Amazon page on the link below this video, and share this video with anyone you think might like it on Facebook. Thanks again for listening.